What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel that's still growing strong, and the Audi A1 is now done and complete. I'm dead excited about this one because of all the work that's gone into this car. It's been a journey, but I'm here to tell you everything we've done. This one's quite special. Before we get started with that, you absolutely have to admire the beauty of this car. The work we've done to it, everything from the refurbished wheels to the new plates to the detail, this car is beautiful. Apologies about my shadow, there's not much I can do about that. Literally, the sun keeps changing its mind. So this car was a private purchase, but it came with quite a few little faults. Now, this is quite an interesting list because the faults that were shown to us were just the radiator fan basically would not switch off. It would just stay on 24/7, cold or hot. So obviously it's working, but we thought it could be a switch or something. Interestingly, it had a new radiator, but it's just the fan wouldn't turn off. So that was problem one. Problem two is the brakes. As you can see from this photo, the disc was completely covered in rust and no amount of driving would get rid of it. To make it worse, when I went for the test drive, the car was driving really well, but the brakes, every time you touched it, was very weak because probably only one corner was working and it would pull to one side. In my opinion, it was dangerous and needed serious attention. Now, the rest of the brakes were clearly working. You can see they were all quite clean on the discs, but on that one corner, the near side front, it wasn't, and it clearly wasn't. Even after the test drive, it didn't make a difference. So with those two faults in mind, the car was also MOT till June, give or take. For retail customers, if you've got anything that's around 6 months left on the MOT, ideally you want to refresh it and give it a full 12 months. So that was in the pipeline as well. First thing we did was change the caliper, thinking, okay, well, chances are it is literally just the caliper that is probably seized. And yes, the caliper was seized, but it still was not working. After further diagnosis, it turned out that the ABS pump itself had failed. Not for the rest of the brakes, but just for that near side front corner. Now, this is quite interesting because you've got a failed ABS pump, which is clearly working for the rest of the three wheels, just not for that near side front. Interestingly, this can happen. So from what it seems, the chances are that because this seized brake caliper was seized for so long, it just back pressured all the way up to the ABS pump and the hydraulic elements inside of it that controlled the near side front, and it basically broke that part of the ABS pump. Now, very, very sadly and alarmingly, if you're going to get a new ABS pump, the cost was £2,200 plus VAT. I was not going to pay that, no chance. Amazingly, I found a company down in Leicester called Autotronic. Now, they repair ABS pumps. So we got on the phone to them, and their quote initially was about £190 plus VAT. Obviously a no-brainer. And you pay an extra £20, £30 for someone to collect the part and deliver it to you afterwards. So again, all we did was pull it out, the guy collected it, took it down there, and they did indeed find that the hydraulic element for the near side front had failed. But to repair that specific part, the price went up to £220 plus VAT. Basically, it was 10% of the price of getting a brand new ABS pump. That was all done and dusted, and whilst we did have to wait nearly a week for that to be completed, it was definitely worth it. It's now back in the car and it is fully working. All the brakes are working perfectly as they should be, and that near side front now has a new caliper as well. Now, the radiator was interesting because it was a brand new radiator. We can clearly see it was brand new and we have the receipt for it, but it didn't make sense that the fan was just permanently on. So obviously we were thinking switch. The switch is a really cheap part. You're talking like £10. I think another word for it is coolant temperature sensor, but it's basically a switch for the radiator to know when to turn on and off. Hilariously, it turned out that it just simply wasn't plugged in properly. But the good news is LT double checked everything and they corrected what was obviously not put in properly. And all of a sudden, everything's working the way it should be. We thought those were the only two issues with the car when we first got it. So those are fixed now. Put it on the ramp, let's do a full inspection. I set myself up for that because whilst I could have just got rid of the car and it seemed like everything was all done and dusted, there was more that needed attention. And so I've got a little list for you. The CV boot and lower arm and a drop link or stabilizer link on the driver's side front, so offside front, was completely deteriorated. We could not have that because that will just get so much worse, and within a short period of time that will become very noticeable and basically it ruins the car. So they needed changing. So they have been changed. The spring on this offside front was actually snapped. So that's now been replaced with a new spring. On top of that, we found that the two rear springs were corroded. Now, they are technically advisory items, and you can see that on the previous MOT. Going into the winter, the chances of a corroded spring snapping go up. So both of the rear springs have now been changed for peace of mind. They are done. I do have experience of some people that buy a car from an auction, hose pipe it, sell it, and then worry about those details later. That is not how it should be. That is just terrible. That's wrong on so many levels. The car needs proper personal attention. As soon as it comes into stock, it has to go through a caring process. A lot of places get so big that they simply do not have the time or resources for this. But if you get to that point, then I'm sorry, are you valuing profit over quality at that point? If I can't put out a quality product, I won't put it out. Now, obviously, I'm hoping I do grow big one day, but if that happens, then I'm still going to give the same amount of love and care and attention to every single bit of stock that comes in as what I'm doing now. Now we come on to the satisfying bit. Do you remember just how filthy this car was when I first got it? It was crazy disgusting. Now, Dan from DC was available. He came down and I gave him the task to bring this thing back to life cosmetically. Now, it was unreal just how much stuff came off the car. But to be honest with you, it was really satisfying watching him work. It literally looked like the car was transforming midway. You would not think that this was the exact same car. I was honestly baffled the whole time while watching the process. The interior looks like a whole different place now. And of course, right now, the result is gorgeous. This is a showroom condition car now. It's mad. Now, obviously, I wouldn't be me if I didn't show you the bad parts about this car as well. So there are a few. Now, from the very front, if you go lower and lower, yes, they're new plates, which is nice. But here you can see there's a few chip marks there. The passenger headlight has these weird kind of crusty burned effect. The guess is that someone has polished this, but they're not protected it properly afterwards. And now it's created this effect. I have been told that a flat and polish could get rid of it, but I'm not a detailer. I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to be, but yeah. Obviously, it's purely cosmetic. Now, the worst part about the car, unfortunately, is something that just simply isn't worth repairing. It is this. On the driver's side, rear quarter of the car, you've got these kind of they're like tiger claws. Now, they're not completely terrible. To me, they're like a little birthmark on the car, or a scar, if you will. Like I said, it's just simply not worth doing. Now, with that in mind, what I have done is Auto Trader is saying that this car retails at $6.5 grand. That is what they're seeing in the market right now. So to be fair, taking everything into consideration, this car is up for $5,995. I can't be any fairer than that. But as you can see in the shot as well, guess what? The alloys have all been refurbished. Now, I did bring this up in the last video. I found an incredible mobile service called the Alloy Boy. They're based in Cheshire, I believe in Congleton. They came down to my unit and they did this, and it was incredible to watch. It was definitely worth doing, and the team there made me so happy. Every single time I need wheel sorting, they are going to be the guys that I call to come down and do it. So thank you, Alloy Boy. Thanks to you, this car is now back to the way it deserves to be. Genuinely, I'm so proud of these wheels. It just sets off the car. Now, the clouds have changed and it was supposed to rain, so I was quite desperate to get out here early. It does have a few extra features. So it has rear parking sensors. Being an S Line, it has half leather interior, which is very comfortable, I might add. It's got a perforated steering wheel, which is also leather wrapped as well. It has a full climate control system. Obviously, you've got automatic lights and wipers. Even the gear knob's perforated. And the infotainment system thankfully plays Bluetooth music from your phone. Now, the real question is, why should you buy an A1 instead of an A3? Well, I'm in the same camp. I prefer a big car instead of a small car, but getting into tight spaces, getting into parking spaces, squeezing through traffic, squeezing through gaps, small cars just take all of that stress away. The other reason is running cost. Officially, this can do 70 to 80 miles per gallon on a motorway run. It is the 1.6 diesel. The cherry on top is it's £20 a year to tax, and its insurance group 15, nice and low. So basically, running this thing is going to be pennies. The fuel tank is also 45 litres. You can get a full tank pretty cheap that's going to last you ages. You know, I was driving the Fiesta earlier today, and obviously it's a car of a certain category. So when you're driving it, the soundproofing isn't going to be the best. You can hear outside elements. That's kind of Fords in general, to be fair. Now, with this product being a premium product, it's the opposite. When you're driving it, you are cocooned from noises in the outside. It's so refined. This is why it's premium. And this is a refined 1.6 version as well. That's why it's 20 quid a year to tax. Now, I do apologize. I know my passion kind of overtakes sometimes, but I am so proud of this thing. Honestly, I love it. For a small car, I don't think you can get any better. I really don't. Thankfully, the service history for this car is actually very, very good. There's tons of invoices, and the last full service was done very, very recently. The cherry on top of everything is I've just put it in yesterday for a MOT, and it's passed 12 months, no advisories, even better. Now this is a car I can trust to go out to a customer. Whilst I'm setting up the cameras on the inside, let me just say thank you all so much. I'm so happy you're all enjoying the content. I'm going to keep on pushing. I'm genuinely gassed. This is brilliant. We're now approaching 3,000 subscribers, and yes, I know compared to the majority that is small, but the point is I'm not a trader who's well established. I'm not a trader who's got everything sorted out. I am a small dealer who's only started less than 6 months ago, and I want to prove that anybody can jump into this game. Do not be intimidated by garages that have tons of cars. You can do the same thing as well. I say that, I still question my own confidence half the time. But legitimately, thank you all so much. Let's see how the A1 drives. I can't believe I've kicked out more than 10 videos in the space of like a month or something. I'm really on it. If you appreciate this sort of thing, please hit subscribe on this channel, and I'm going to bring it a lot more for you. Fires up strong. You know, it's weird having the MMI controls on here. I'm so used to sitting back, chilling, and being able to swivel the wheel like that. Obviously, in some of the cars, you have it up here. Right, anyways, enough of the infotainment system. See, being a diesel, foot off the clutch, it just goes with no effort at all. Gear change is really, really good. It locked the doors automatically. So again, going up a hill. Now this one, it's just so effortless. Do you know what? I'm quite shocked by the power of this thing. It actually kicks. This is the same engine that you get in the 1.6 diesel Golf, and that's a much bigger body. So think about it, in a small car like this, it moves really well. The steering is very, very precise. The one thing I completely forgot to say, it's got 74,000 miles on it, which is low for one of these, very, very low. Oh yeah, there's a lot of life left in this car. I know it sounds like a tractor, but it is very smooth. The perforation on the steering wheel makes it feel even better. Right, corner, corner, corner. That is ridiculously good. Tires are all good on this car, thankfully, as well. But now that the brakes are all working perfectly, it doesn't pull to one side. That's how it should be, you know? That's exactly how it should be. But the turbo boost's really low down. That's what's shocking me. The turbo boost is really strong and it's low down. Now, the one bit of bad news, and it is bad news for me, my VAT effective start date is Monday, which is only 3 days away. Now, what that means is if I can sell a car before Monday, so over this weekend, I'm not hit with any VAT. Now, if I do sell a car from Monday onwards, then every single car from that point going forward, I have to pay VAT. Now, that's not anything for a customer to worry about. Dealers like myself are on a VAT margin scheme. All that basically means is that when we sell a car, we take the difference between the price we bought the car for and the price we sold the car for, and that amount is the taxable amount. So 20% of that amount obviously is the taxable amount that we got to put into a pot and give to the government, which are looking after us also well. I'm going to move some cars around now. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, subscribe if this is your sort of thing. You can find if this car's still available on our website, links in the description. I'll see you soon.